Commander Zilax's command center fell silent as the security footage looped for the third time. 47 bodies, 3 minutes and 12 seconds, 0 missed strikes, and the human janitor, Olivia Smith, was calmly wiping her blade on a maintenance rag like she'd just finished mopping up a spill. "Replay section 7 again," Zilax said, his vocal sacs contracting with each word. His secondary hands trembled as they gripped the console edge, leaving small dents in the metal. The holographic display flickered, casting blue-white light across the faces of his senior staff. Every officer in the room had combat experience. Every one of them had seen death. None of them had seen anything like this. Frame by frame, the impossible unfolded once more. A Korvax mercenary, 2 meters of muscle, bone plating, and combat enhancements worth more than a small starship, lunged with a plasma blade that hummed with enough energy to cut through hull plating. Olivia's hand moved, not fast, not slow, just moved. The sharpened maintenance bracket she carried deflected the strike with a soft metallic ring, redirected the momentum with geometric precision, and found the gap between the mercenary's third and fourth vertebrae before the warrior even registered the counter. According to YouTube analytics, 99.6% of viewers are not subscribed. That's a huge number. By subscribing the channel that is completely free, you'll help support the channel and never miss fresh content. "She didn't predict that," whispered Kael'thas, head of station security. His 4 eyes blinked in different patterns, a sign of deep cognitive stress among his species. "She knew it. Before he moved. Before he even committed to the attack vector." "Impossible," said Vex Thul from engineering, mandibles clicking rapidly. "The Korvax are undefeated in close combat for 200 years. Their reaction time is measured in microseconds. Their neural enhancements process threat data faster than most species can perceive danger. Their combat algorithms doesn't matter." Zilax closed all 6 eyes, trying to find darkness, trying to unsee what he'd witnessed. Whatever she is, reaction time isn't the variable we should be measuring. This isn't about speed. "Then what is it about?" Kael'thas asked. Zilax opened his eyes. "Certainty." On screen, Olivia continued through the corridor at a steady walking pace. 17 Korvax warriors converged from 3 directions: north access, south junction, and through the ventilation shaft above. Standard pack tactics, perfectly executed, the kind of coordination that required years of training and neural synchronization. They moved like a single organism with multiple bodies. She walked through them like water flowing around stones, except the stones bled and fell and didn't get back up. Her blade never hesitated, never paused to reassess, never double-checked. Every strike found a gap in armor, a weakness in stance, a mathematical certainty where anatomy met edge. She didn't fight them, she processed them, like obstacles in a route that needed clearing. The 17th warrior, veteran of 40 campaigns, decorated for valor in the Vegan Wars, managed to activate his personal shield just before her blade arrived. The energy field could stop plasma fire, kinetic rounds, even molecular disruptors. Olivia adjusted her grip by 3 degrees and struck the shield generator itself, the one weak point in the entire system, a vulnerability that required hitting a target the size of a fingernail while the warrior was in motion. The shield collapsed. Her blade continued its arc without pause. The warrior fell. "Mother of the first dark," breathed Vex Thul. She adapted mid-strike, while moving, while processing 17 other targets. "That's not possible, the computational power alone." "Sir, she's requesting cleaning supplies from storage," reported the operations officer, voice shaking slightly. Young, new to command deck. Still learning that the universe could be stranger than training simulations suggested. "Says she needs more disinfectant for Sector 7. Also..." He paused, checking his display twice as if hoping the words would change. "She's filed a maintenance report about the blood tracking, says it's bigger mess than usual, and she'll need to reschedule bathroom maintenance for tonight's shift to compensate. The entire command crew turned to stare at him with whatever visual organs their species possessed. She's filing a supply request? Zillax felt his breathing apparatus seize up, the autonomous system struggling against his conscious disbelief. Standard forms? Yes, sir. Form 7B for hazardous materials, Form 12C for schedule adjustment, and Form 3A for equipment wear reporting, all properly filled out. She noted that her maintenance bracket needs sharpening again and requested authorization to use station facilities. Kael'thas pulled up the live feed with shaking hands. There, in Sector 7, Olivia Smith pushed her cleaning cart down the corridor, humming something that sounded like an Earth melody, cheerful, light, the kind of thing someone might hum while doing laundry or preparing food. She stopped at a bloodstain, dark purple Korvax blood mixed with the silver green of their enhancement fluids, and sighed the way someone sighs at a spilled drink. She pulled out her mop, applied cleaning solution with practiced efficiency, and began scrubbing the deck plating with quick, circular motions that covered maximum area with minimum effort. "We need to evacuate the station," Vex Thule said flatly. "Immediately. Full emergency protocols." "And go where?" Zillax watched as Olivia moved to the next stain, her movements economical and precise. "She works here. This is her assigned route. She has a contract. Then we need protocols. Emergency procedures, something that keeps us from," Vex Thule gestured at the massacre footage still playing on auxiliary screens, "from becoming part of her workflow optimization." "Like what? Don't threaten the janitor during her shift?" "Yes." Vex Thule's mandibles clicked so rapidly they created a buzzing sound. "Exactly that. Make it regulation. Make it law. Make it whatever it takes for people to understand that you don't interrupt her route." Zillax initiated station-wide lockdown protocols, then immediately wondered what good they'd do against someone who'd walked through 17 synchronized Korvax warriors like they were holographic projections. "Send a message to Galactic Command, Priority Alpha, Maximum Encryption." What should it say? "Sir." He watched Olivia move to the next stain, her technique flawless, her efficiency terrifying in its casualness. "Tell them we have a situation." "Code." He searched for the right designation. They had codes for invasion, sabotage, containment breach, alien artifacts, dimensional anomalies. Nothing quite fit. "Tell them the human cleaning staff is active. They'll understand." "Sir, that's not a recognized emergency code." "It is now." 3 hours later, Zillax stood in the observation deck as reinforcements arrived. Not military. He'd specifically requested they not send military. What good were soldiers against someone who'd made the galaxy's finest warriors look like first-year cadets? The Galactic Combat Institute had sent analysts instead. Zara, master assassin with 4,000 confirmed eliminations across 16 species, materialized from the shadows near the main viewport. Her people, the Shawl, didn't walk like other beings. They existed in negative space, in the gaps between photons, in the quantum uncertainty where observation itself became weapon. Most species couldn't track them even when they chose visibility. "Show me," she said. Her voice carried harmonics that made reality feel thin. They showed her. Zara watched the footage in complete silence. Not the silence of concentration, but the silence of something fundamental breaking. Hours passed. Station cycles changed. The command crew rotated shifts. She didn't move, didn't blink, didn't acknowledge anything except the holographic display showing a human janitor ending 47 lives with the same efficiency she used to clean floors. 48 hours after she began watching, she finally spoke. Her voice had changed, carrying the weight of existential crisis. She didn't fight them. "What?" Kael'thas leaned forward, desperate for understanding. "We all watched the same." "She didn't fight them," Zara repeated. "Fighting requires acknowledgement, exchange, the dance of violence where both parties accept the rules of engagement." Her form flickered with distress, edges blurring between visible and void. This is someone sweeping a floor. The floor has obstacles. The obstacles are removed. There's no conversation, no acknowledgement of the obstacles as entities worthy of combat consideration. Just efficiency. Zilax felt his circulatory system run cold, his three hearts synchronizing to a slower, dread-filled rhythm. You're saying she didn't even register them as threats. I'm saying she registered them as interruptions to optimal workflow. Zara's hands moved through forms that hurt to watch, ancient gestures of respect given to forces beyond comprehension. In my culture, we have a story about the perfect blade. It cuts without cutting. It exists in the space between intent and action. We thought it was philosophy, metaphor. She gestured at the frozen image of Olivia redirecting a plasma blade with her maintenance bracket. She's using it, the perfect blade, except it's not a blade. It's a sharpened bracket for opening stuck panels, and she's not wielding it. She's just cleaning. I don't understand the distinction, Vexthul said, because you're thinking like a warrior. Zara began fading back into negative space. I'm requesting immediate transfer off this station. I'll file my report from a safe distance. You're the Institute's best analyst, which is why I know when I'm observing something that shouldn't exist in a rationally ordered universe. Her voice came from everywhere and nowhere. She weaponized janitorial work without knowing it. Every motion optimized for efficiency, no wasted energy, no flourish, no tradition, no acknowledgement of combat as anything special or worthy of different behavior. Just results. That's not training. That's not skill. That's something far more terrifying. What? Zilax demanded. Economic efficiency at the species level. Zara's presence completely faded. Only her voice remained, coming from the shadows. Your human has probably never fought anyone in her life. She just cleans things very, very well. And when obstacles appear during cleaning, she removes them with the same efficiency she removes dirt. To her nervous system, there's no difference. Both are interruptions to route completion. Both must be resolved with optimal speed and minimal effort. The observation deck fell silent. She'll do it again, Zara's voice whispered from the dark. Not because she's violent, because someone else will interrupt her route, and she'll optimize that interruption away. It's not malice, it's professional competence, which is why I'm leaving. You can't defend against professional competence. You can only stay out of its way. Then she was gone, truly gone, in the way only the shawl could be gone. Zilax stood at the viewport, looking down at Sector 7 where Olivia had moved to bathroom maintenance, exactly on schedule. Through the transparent deck plating, he could see her working, her movements precise and practiced. Sir, Kael'thas said quietly, 3 more mercenary groups just entered sensor range. They're broadcasting revenge oaths for the Korvax warriors. They're demanding the human be turned over they want to make an example. Zilax closed his eyes. Tell them she's busy. Sir, tell them she's in the middle of her shift and really doesn't appreciate interruptions. He opened his eyes. Then seal all docking bays and enable maximum defensive shielding. Not to keep them out. To contain the collateral damage. You want them to land. I want to see if I'm right. Zilax pulled up the station manifest. And I want to update our emergency insurance. Maximum coverage. List the cause as operational efficiency. The mercenary groups landed in Bay 7, Bay 12, and Bay 19 simultaneously. 3 different species. 3 different combat doctrines, all united by honor debt to the fallen Korvax. 23 warriors total, each one a specialist in close quarters combat, each one armed with weapons that violated at least 4 galactic conventions. They converged on Sector 7 where intelligence reported the human janitor was working. Zilax watched from the command center, all screens focused on different camera angles. Beside him, Kael'thas was taking bets from the junior officers on how long it would take. I'm not betting, Zilax said. Why not, sir? Because I already know the outcome. I just don't know if I want to be right. The mercenaries moved with professional precision, flanking patterns perfected over decades, communication protocols encrypted and tight. They reached the maintenance corridor where Olivia was scheduled to be cleaning. She was there, right on schedule, working on a particularly stubborn stain near the waste disposal access. The lead mercenary, a Jakan warrior whose species had 4 arms and could process spatial data in dimensions most beings couldn't perceive, stepped forward. He raised his primary weapon and began the traditional challenge declaration. Olivia looked up, annoyed. "Do you mind? I'm in the middle of something." "You will. I've got 6 more corridors before end of shift. If you want to file a complaint, station management is on deck 12. Now if you'll excuse me," the warrior reached for her. What happened next, Zilax watched frame by frame for weeks afterward and never quite understood. The warrior's 4 arms moved in perfect synchronization, a strike pattern that attacked from angles that shouldn't exist in 3-dimensional space. Olivia swayed slightly, not dodging, just adjusting her stance to better reach the stain, and his arms found nothing but air. She stood, holding her mop. Not defensively, just holding it because she'd been using it. 23 mercenaries attacked simultaneously. 2 minutes and 43 seconds later, the corridor was quiet except for the sound of Olivia wringing out her mop into her bucket. "Well," she said to the empty air, "that's going to require more forms." The Galactic Council emergency session convened 16 hours later. Zilax presented his findings via quantum link while maintaining maximum distance from Olivia's cleaning route. He'd learned that lesson. Council members from 73 species filled the chamber, their holographic projections creating a constellation of concern. At the center, on the raised dais, sat the 5 high counselors who governed all known space. 17 more, Zilax reported, his voice steady despite the tremor in his hands. 3 mercenary groups arrived seeking revenge for the Korvax. We begged her to take the day off, offered double pay, triple pay, a month's paid vacation. And, Counselor Jotaro leaned forward. The xenoanthropologist's species had 12 eyes arranged in a circle, allowing complete spherical vision. All 12 were focused on Zilax with unsettling intensity. She said she had bathrooms scheduled, that the cleaning rotation doesn't account for personal days without 2 weeks advance notice, and she takes her professional responsibilities seriously. Then, Sector 7 maintenance corridor. 23 bodies this time, mix of species, mix of combat styles. All elite-level threats. Zilax pulled up the footage. The bathrooms are spotless. She even cleaned grout that hasn't been properly maintained in 3 cycles. Left a note for station management about proper preventive maintenance schedules. A ripple of distress passed through the council chambers, manifesting in ways specific to each species. The Garant turned colors that didn't have names in standard vocabulary. The Tsar's tentacles coiled so tightly they nearly cut off their own circulation. The silicon-based Crete simply froze, their consciousness retreating into crystalline structures to process the impossible. "We need to understand this," Jotaro said after order was restored. "This isn't combat, this isn't defense. This is..." He searched for words. "This is a phenomenon we lack taxonomy for." "It's a human doing her job," said Counselor Vexia from the weapons master seat. She was legendary, ancient, had trained warriors across 2,000 years. Her voice carried weight that bent probability. "And that's what terrifies me." "Explain." "Bring her here," Vexia said. "Voluntary consultation. Pay her overtime, hazard pay, whatever her species values. But I need to see this with my own perception organs." "You want her here?" "At Council Central?" "I want to understand what we're dealing with before more of my former students decide to seek glory against a human janitor." Olivia arrived on time, carrying her cleaning kit in a regulation-compliant container. She seemed confused by the escort of 12 ceremonial guards, who maintained a respectful 15-meter distance and had explicit orders to not make sudden movements. "Am I in trouble?" she asked Zilax as they walked through the council's crystalline corridors. Because I filed all the proper incident reports. The blood disposal alone was 3 forms, plus the hazardous materials declarations, plus the equipment maintenance logs. I followed every protocol. No trouble, Zilax assured her, trying to keep his vocal sacs from convulsing. The guards around them looked like they were escorting a doomsday weapon, which, Zilax reflected, might not be far from the truth. The council wants to understand your techniques. Oh, she brightened, her human facial expression changing in ways that created smile analogs. You mean the cleaning? Sure, I can show you. We use a really efficient system back on Earth. Saves tons of time. The trainers at the sanitation department are really strict about it. The council chamber fell silent as Olivia entered. 57 of the galaxy's most powerful beings watched this human, in a maintenance uniform, carry a mop bucket to the center of the floor. The bucket had seen use. The mop had been properly cleaned and maintained. Her toolkit was organized with the precision of religious ritual. So the key is economic motion, Olivia began, setting down her bucket and demonstrating her stance. Her feet positioned exactly shoulder-width apart, weight distributed evenly, center of gravity low and stable. You want to engage your core muscles. That's really important, prevents back injury. Keep your center of gravity low for stability and move in patterns that cover maximum area with minimum steps. She began moving through her cleaning pattern, slow enough to demonstrate, fast enough to show the efficiency. Vexia watched from her seat. 300 years of experience, 2,000 years of collective wisdom from her masters before her. Every combat style in known space cataloged in her memory. After 30 seconds, she stood and walked out. Jotaro found her in the corridor, trembling. Vexia, who had stared down fleet commanders and made warlords reconsider their life choices, was shaking. What did you see? Perfection, Vexia whispered. Every stance is combat optimal. Every motion flows into the next with zero wasted energy. No gaps, no openings, no vulnerability. Her cleaning technique would take me 300 years to master, and I've devoted my entire life to understanding violence. She's just mopping. She's demonstrating martial arts that don't know they're martial arts. Vexia's voice cracked, the legendary composure shattering. Watch her feet. That's the kata of flowing rivers, the forbidden style of the ancient masters, lost when their civilization ended in war. Watch her hands. That's the serpent's economy, the technique that made the serpent clans unstoppable until they chose extinction rather than teaching it to others. Watch her spine, her weight distribution, her breathing. She stopped, gasping. Watch her blade work, she continued. Except it's not blade work, it's mop work. She's teaching us to clean floors with techniques that I've spent lifetimes trying to rediscover. And she learned this in 3 months at a civilian training facility on a planet we classified as low threat. Back in the chamber, Olivia continued her demonstration, occasionally asking if anyone had questions. Several council members had questions. Most of them couldn't form words. See, you never want to reach beyond your natural range of motion, Olivia explained, demonstrating with her mop. Reaching extends your center of gravity and wastes time returning to neutral position. Instead, you step, maintain balance, let the tool do the work. The tool is an extension of your body, not a separate object. Feel the weight, understand the balance point, work with it, not against it. Counselor R. Hill raised a tentacle, the gesture shaky. When those mercenaries attacked, did you use these same motions? I guess, Olivia shrugged, a very human gesture that other species found difficult to parse. I mean, I was in the middle of my route. They were blocking the waste disposal. That's a critical choke point. If I can't access waste disposal, the entire route backs up and I fall behind schedule. I had 6 more corridors to finish before end of shift, and the union contract is very clear about overtime authorization procedures. And the blade? Jotaro's voice barely worked. The maintenance bracket you used as a weapon? She pulled it from her toolkit. About 15 centimeters long, steel alloy, sharpened on one edge for scraping stuck panels and cutting stubborn material. Standard maintenance equipment. This? It's just for opening stuck panels and scraping tough stains. Works pretty well, though. Had it since training. They taught us proper maintenance. A dull tool is dangerous, increases effort, increases risk of injury, decreases efficiency. The mercenaries had armor rated to stop plasma fire, Hill said carefully. Shields that deflect molecular weapons, enhancement systems that process threat data in microseconds. Yeah, they had a lot of fancy gear. Olivia examined her bracket. But gear doesn't matter if you're standing in the wrong position. They were blocking the waste disposal access. That created optimal approach angles for me. Basic spatial efficiency. You work with the environment, not against it. The council chamber exploded with overlapping voices in 24 languages, creating a cacophony that triggered the chamber's emergency dampers. Jotaro called for order, failed, then triggered the silence field that prevented all sound transmission. In the sudden quiet, he spoke carefully. Let me understand this correctly. Your combat training— I don't have combat training, Olivia interrupted politely. Your janitor training, Jotaro corrected, teaches the same motions that defeated the Korvax elites? Multiple other warrior groups? Mercenaries who've survived decades of warfare? I mean, I just cleaned up. They were in my way. She paused, thinking, are the Korvax super important? They had really expensive-looking equipment. Should I have filed additional paperwork? From the corridor outside, Vexia's laughter echoed. Slightly unhinged, slightly broken. The sound of someone whose fundamental understanding of reality had been reorganized against their will. Jotaro spent the next 18 hours in isolation, analyzing Earth's training protocols for civilian occupations. What he discovered made him schedule an emergency session with the full Xenoanthropology Institute. 73 scientists assembled via quantum link, their projections filling an auditorium built to accommodate species from methane breathers to entities that existed primarily in electromagnetic spectrums. Humans evolved on a Class 12 death world. Jotaro began his presentation. The holographic display behind him showed Earth in all its terrifying glory. For context, Class 12 is the highest rating before we simply designate a planet as uninhabitable. The image zoomed into various environments. Deserts where temperatures could cook flesh in minutes. Frozen wastes where exposed skin died in seconds. Jungles where every plant had evolved defensive toxins and every animal had evolved to kill. Oceans with predators that made warships look fragile. Everything there wants to kill them, he continued. The weather, the animals, the plants, the microorganisms, the geology.
Even the water can kill them if they don't process it correctly. So they optimized everything for survival efficiency. The holographic display showed human evolution, bipedal locomotion that freed hands for tool use, endurance running that let them chase prey to exhaustion, throwing accuracy that let them kill from distance, social cooperation that multiplied individual capability. But the real adaptation was neurological, Jotaro explained. Humans developed what we're calling universal efficiency optimization. Their brains can't differentiate between different types of tasks. Whether they're hunting food, building shelter, or cleaning floors, the same neural pathways activate, the same optimization occurs, the same drive for maximum efficiency with minimum wasted effort. He pulled up footage of human workers. A chef dicing vegetables with hypnotic precision, the knife becoming a blur, a surgeon making incisions with absolute confidence, a carpenter measuring and cutting with geometric perfection, a painter creating with economic brush strokes. Watch the patterns, Jotaro zoomed in on the movements. Every profession uses identical motion economy. Their brains physically cannot differentiate between efficient food preparation and efficient combat. The neural pathways are the same. The optimization is the same. The drive for perfection is the same. He played footage of Olivia cleaning, then overlaid it with footage of historical human warriors. The patterns matched, the efficiency matched, the economy of motion was identical. So when Olivia cleaned those corridors, she was doing her job, Jotaro confirmed.
When obstacles appeared in her workflow, when mercenaries blocked her access to critical route points, she removed them with the same efficiency she removes dirt. To her nervous system, there's no difference. Both are interruptions to optimal route completion. Both must be resolved with minimum time and effort. But surely she recognized them as living beings. Of course she did. Humans aren't sociopaths, but in her professional context, during her assigned shift, they were obstacles first and beings second. She removed the obstacle. The fact that the obstacle was alive and armed was simply additional parameters to account for in her efficiency calculations. The implications settled over the assembly like gravity. "How many humans have civilian jobs?" asked one of the attendees, a crystalline being whose voice resonated through quantum fields. "That's not a solution. It's survival," Jotaro said flatly. "Watch the footage again. Really watch it. Olivia didn't use weapons. She used a sharpened bracket. She didn't use combat algorithms. She used cleaning routes. She didn't deploy warfare tactics. She deployed time management." He pulled up a final image. Olivia filling out her supply request forms. Every field completed properly. Every regulation followed. "She's not a warrior," Jotaro said. "She's a professional who takes her job seriously. And that's what makes her terrifying, because there are 8 billion more like her, and they all take their jobs just as seriously." Back on the station, Zilax received the Council's official protocols, delivered via courier drone marked with 6 different priority stamps. He read them twice, then called a senior staff meeting. The conference room was packed. Every department head, every shift supervisor, every team lead who might conceivably encounter Olivia during her route. "New regulations effective immediately," Zilax announced, displaying the Council directive on the main screen. "First, human service workers' schedules are inviolate, priority alpha. Second, her name is no longer spoken aloud in operational contexts." "Sir?" Kailtas looked confused, his 4 eyes blinking in different patterns. "That's superstition. It's survival." Zilax displayed the analysis from the Council. "She has excellent hearing, human evolutionary adaptation for persistence hunting. When someone says her name, she looks. When she looks, she assesses. When she assesses, she sees things that need cleaning. We don't want her to see anything that might be classified as needing cleaning." The room went very quiet. "We call her the custodial technician, or night shift maintenance. No names, no direct attention, no creating situations that might require her professional attention." Vexthul nodded slowly, mandibles still. "We keep everything clean. We stay out of her route. We don't create problems that require her workflow optimization." "Exactly." Zilax pulled up the statistical analysis. Since the incidents, station cleanliness ratings have improved 47%. Corridor blocking violations are down 89%. Waste disposal efficiency is up 52%. Incident reports are down 93%. "Because everyone's terrified," someone muttered. "Because everyone's being professional," Zilax corrected. "Which is what she is. Professional. And we're going to match her professionalism by not interrupting her work." The protocols spread through official channels, then unofficial ones. Station communications to fleet communications to mercenary networks to bounty hunter boards to pirate exchanges. Within a week, every independent operator in 3 sectors had received the update. Zilax's station, maximum threat level. Reason listed, custodial staff active, route interruption inadvisable. Bounty hunters crossed the station off their routes. Pirates updated their charts with warning beacons that pulsed, avoid during night cycle. Even the Korvax Empire issued a formal apology, reclassified humans as apex unintentional predators, and updated their combat manuals with a new chapter titled Civilian Hazards. The apology was delivered by drone. No one wanted to deliver it in person, not while Olivia was working. Olivia noticed people being more polite. The corridors stayed cleaner. Her supply requests were approved within minutes instead of hours. Someone had even upgraded her cleaning cart with better wheels and improved storage. She appreciated the cooperation and left a positive review in the station feedback system, giving management 5 stars and noting excellent support for night shift operations. When Earth Custodial Union heard about the incident from 17 different sources, all breathlessly explaining what had happened, they convened an emergency negotiation session with Galactic Station management representatives. The negotiations were brief. "Our workers face hazardous conditions off-world," the union representative said. "Agreed," said every station manager simultaneously. "Therefore, 400% pay increase for off-world positions." Agreed. Plus, enhanced benefits, guaranteed schedule adherence, and... Agreed. Agreed to everything. Do you need it in writing? That was easier than expected, the union representative noted. "You have no idea," one station manager muttered. Stations across the galaxy suddenly discovered their cleaning budgets quadrupling, then quintupling when they realized they needed to hire more human janitors because having clean stations was suddenly a competitive advantage. They paid without argument, they paid with gratitude. They paid and considered it the bargain of the millennium. 1 month later, Emma Johnson arrived as the new day shift custodian. Olivia spent 3 days training her on efficient technique and proper route optimization. The station evacuated 3 decks during the training sessions, not because anyone ordered it, just because people noticed the training schedule and decided they had important business elsewhere. Far elsewhere. Emma seemed nice, though, very thorough. Asked good questions about optimal routes and tool maintenance. Olivia gave her full marks on the evaluation form and noted that she shows excellent professional aptitude. Zelax watched the training footage with Kael'thas, both of them maintaining a safe distance from the training areas. "There's 2 of them now," Kael'thas said quietly. "Don't." Zelax closed his eyes. "Just don't. Day shift and night shift coverage, complete station service." "I said don't. We're the safest station in 3 sectors." "I know. Because of the janitorial staff." "I know." They watched in silence as Emma demonstrated her own cleaning technique to Olivia, who offered suggestions on grip optimization and stance adjustment. 2 humans sharing professional knowledge, improving efficiency, taking their jobs seriously.